does. Oh, see, it works perfectly every once in a while. Let me see if you can frame me again, please. I'd appreciate it.
Oh, you need to be framed.
I know. Okay, this is one of my favorite times of the evening because I get to talk about a person in public to people that she is in full view of and say complimentary things. Sandra Anfang, a beautiful poet. A poet whose words mean things beyond just the context of the individual word or the phrase. She's clever that way. There's depth in each, like you look at a line, there's different ways to take it. You look at the second one, there's different ways to take that. And then there's complexities which form, so it's, you have to read it more than once. So that's good to have that link up there. So when you see her performing, you go, I'm gonna go listen to that one again because there's stuff in there. So that's one aspect of the quality that you're about to experience. A mixture of compassion and passion, informed reason. Dast I say, there's logic. Dast I say, what's that other one? Rational. The term rational comes to mind. Things which are in dire need, as we may see them. But rather than have me go on and blabbercate up here, I'd rather have you welcome Sandra. Come up here, please. Sandra Anfang, the feature of the evening. She's a very forgiving person, too. And make sure this is right for you, and I'm not focusing on this. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dan. What an
Okay.
introduction. I hope I can live up to it.
We have faith.
It's good. We need faith.
Yes.
This is my third time here. I came once to open mic, and another time I was here for the San Francisco Peace and Hope anthology reading.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's not new to me, but I live all the way up in Petaluma, so it's a treat to come down to the city. First couple of poems I'm going to read are from my 2016 chapbook called Looking Glass Heart, published by Finishing Line Press. This is a mostly personal book about, worked through a lot of family and mother stuff in this book. The first poem is called Max, and Max was my maternal grandfather, who I loved a lot. In the dream, I hear them, clear as the loon across the Quebec lake. My mother and her sister are huddled at the kitchen table. The call and response of their voices, rising and falling like the flames of Shabbos candles. Their heads are full of boys and gossip, a veneer for the old worldness of their father, who spoke a Yiddish-English hash as he scattered crumbs for pigeons, flanked by cadres of brown-suited men, communing in a foreign tongue in this, my America. He might have been working the old singer, culling stylish suits for his daughters from gold filigree. A few shekels for yardage was all he needed. The clacking of the metal foot would drown their prattle. Battered cookie tins hold photos of Max and his girls navigating cobblestone streets in this urban Eden they loved so much. He bent his head and fashioned clothes for them while their cold mother waited, a granite statue in the park on Fordham Road. My mother would inherit his softness and tender heart, along with her mother's ice, drizzling haughtiness on her plainer sister. It's natural that I should catch a shard from the Snow Queen's mirror. Once lodged in the heart, they are difficult to remove. Splinters in our eternal fabric, a legacy passed from parent to child, generation to generation. A chorus of hushed tones retold like guilty secrets in night kitchens all along the eastern seaboard.
I might notice that you have books over there.
I do.
Just
I
so that
have
the
a new
audience
book, which
know.
I'll talk about in a little bit, and copies of this one as well,
All right.
and some old cheapies that are self-published.
Oh, good.
This is a poem about eating disorders, which I am happy to say are decades behind me, but it's called Happiness Weighs More. I grew up on strudel and kreplach, pinching crust with meaty thumbs. Grandma and I joked over kneading, grounded by laughter. Buttercream defined our yen for sweetness. tempering the bitter in our lives. In college, I met anorexia. She wasn't pretty, though in the mirror she felt ethereal. I hoped to catch a fistful of her robe and sail away. By day I starved, loving the refusal, jaw set in concrete, spurning calorie by negative calorie. By night, my dreams were filled with calipers. Sandbags barred the doorway to my mouth. In time, I came to know bulimia, her crazy sister. She holed up in my apartment, camped out on the couch, taught me to punch down dough to stop her pain before I gave it back as guilt, remorse, the great re-emptying. I ran the gamut till I saw the needle hover, then find rest on a sensible scale. Gradually, I learned to stomach love.
Wow.
Very much. Such a great audience and such great readers. The brand new book came out in April. Is called Road Warrior with an O, Poems of the Inner and Outer Landscape. And it's a collection of road poems from my whole life's travels. The first one is called Bedouin Wedding. When I was hitchhiking around Europe in 1971, the boats were on strike and we couldn't get back to France or Italy, so we ended up in Tunisia. And it was interesting. I had been an anthropology major, and this was during a break in college. And when I came back from that trip, I spent a whole year doing an independent study on Bedouin women in Arabia, because it just grabbed me so much. So anyway, when there's a Bedouin tribal wedding, they invite all the women in the village, and the men and women have separate weddings, which makes for interesting symbolism. But anyway, so here I am, an American in a black raincoat, and I get invited to the wedding. Fabulous. Bedouin wedding. She crowns the faded throne. Her bones, hollow as kestrels, settle light on satin cushions. She has given everything for this moment. Inshallah. At her feet, cross-legged drummers beam, thrumming their soul songs in homage to her flight from maiden to wife. Women circumambulate, kneel, gaze heavenward at her grace in the face of so much change. They are dreaming a single dream of the moment they'll step over on their wedding day. Inshallah. In the market, beckoned by a tattooed crone, I sleepwalk in my American raincoat, button neck to knee. Jeans sprout from the southern hemisphere against 110 degrees of separation. We eat sugar wafers, sip at pomegranate tea, wonder what the groom is thinking now on his own wedding throne. I marvel at the string of uncles queued outside the marriage tent, holding vigil, drinking toasts, awaiting the victory shout. This next poem is called Coincidence, and each one has the setting written kind of as a anyway, Coincidence, Superstition Range, Arizona. When I lived in Phoenix, we used to, back in the days before reservations, you'd throw your sleeping bag into the car and just head for the hills and could camp anywhere in the open desert. It was quite wonderful. Coincidence. The ribbon of road wound through high desert hills. Saguaros silhouetted against a reboso sky of honeydew and cantaloupe snared the first stars. Two couples on a mission, a full moon desert hike. Barrel cacti's silver spurs would guide us to her quickening. The windowless panel van Crazy Jim had filched from the lab, slipped blithely off the asphalt. Healer and collie flew to the rear, cushioned us as we slammed into them. Tires free fell off the edge, taking the oil slick's dare. Time reversed itself before my eyes, just like the Reader's Digest had promised, a short but sturdy life. I mouthed goodbye with gratitude, felt the roller coaster plunge, no time for fear. Blocked by a random stump, we charged to a halt. Confusion splayed its hand. Scanning the barren sandstone bluff, wondering how to open the sunroof, which was the side door upended, I gaped at the tailgate, now a tinfoil ball. The wild mustangs of our limbs climbed against gravity. Night gathered its leaves and salved our cheeks with dew. Killing time in the barefoot country bar, in cut-offs and a halter top, we laughed at our nakedness while we waited for the tow truck, the only other business on this lonesome stretch of road.
Huh?
Can you let me know when I have like 2 minutes?
Okay.
Great.
I'll go like this.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks. This next one is called Plunge, and it was set at the Banana Shout Cottages in Negril, Jamaica. 1985, I think. Plunge. Huts of woven straw crown an ocean cliff. Each morning, Cleo, the fruit lady, wakes us with her song. Orange juice, sour sap juice. It filters through the gauzy curtains of my dreams. In the outdoor kitchen, we cobble together an Aki breakfast, stumble into swimsuits. Take the short hike to the promontory. It takes me days to find the nerve to jump. I watch with envy as the others throw a kiss to island skies and drop like ninjas over the ledge. The fall is 15, maybe 20 feet. The more I ponder it, the more my feet are fused to stone. When I relent, the jackknife of my life careens. Heart, gut, and head plunge together from the edge. As I fall, I calmly bid my breath goodbye. The ocean welcomes me into its bed. Later that week, a Rastafarian teaches me the scuba dive ballet. We stand knee-deep in shallow water. Under the umbrella of his beneficence, I take a second plunge. Eating jerk chicken on the topless beach, I try to comprehend what I've just done and learn I've used less air than anyone. Such a foreign brand of letting go from the tumbling of love or lust. Toes lose their grip on the floorboards, body and senses tumbling toward the vortex or the light, whichever comes first. I think at least one more from this book. I'm going to give you a little Spanish glossary on this one. It's called Hasta Monteverde, and it's about a trip I took with my son and his then girlfriend, now fiance, and her mother. The four of us spent 10 days at various places in Costa Rica. So let's see, rancheria kind of music. Pulperias is pretty obscure. They're little octopus cocktail stands that exist in Costa Rica. And cerveza, you know. Empanadas, they're from all over Latin America, but they're different in Costa Rica. And then colones is the currency, and a phrase, la alma de la cocina, the soul of the kitchen. At 7 a.m. we fill the narrow road. Valises carve patterns in congealed mud. The bus glides in through steamy air. Radio cycles through stations pumping opera, Latin heartthrob, rancheria through outsized speakers. We veer out of town past the raw food bars, coconut stands, pulperias. A cubist montage the size of a dollhouse kitchen recedes in the rearview mirror. My son sleeps off last night's cerveza, reeking of garlic with a barf chaser. The barkeep told him there's nothing in Monteverde where we're headed. No party, nada, but the naked jungle. I hold my tongue, though the weight of it breaks my biceps. Can't fault a 22-year-old flattered by a rummy hotelier who offers a gig with all the free beer he can drink. At the first stop, an empanada lady glides through the bus, steam rising from her plastic tub, an offering to the Virgen de Guadalupe. The spiced pati perfume follows me down the aisle like a spurned lover, flips a switch in my brain. 500 colones buys la alma de la cocina, a Costa Rican Madeleine. A federale hops aboard, takes his time, each passport a cipher he must decode. It's only 8:15 and he's got the whole day to fill. He and the Pati princess do-si-do to the door. The music rises like an equatorial sun as we roll on to San Jose to be delivered to the next adventure.
Oh. I'll give you the signals.
Let's do one more from this book, and then I'll read a few new things from a book that's coming out at the end of the year. This one's called Behind the Canvas. I used to teach English to a couple that spoke no English on an organic farm down south of Half Moon Bay. It was really fun, and I passed this beautiful broken down barn every day, so this fantasy came out of it, Behind the Canvas. The white barn devolves, it droops under its own heft. The tang of damp straw from the hayloft shoots an arrow to my brain. Paint chips gouged to a milky blue cling to the clapboard. The wind's the culprit, stealing frosting from a yellow cake. I see the family sitting down to Sunday supper. Grandma in her wire rims, flowered apron with its flint tip scorches. Grandpa in his red suspenders. Yellow-stained fingers pluck tobacco from his beard. Today they celebrate the spoils of a 50-year run. 2 ghostly Chevys guard the silo, their windows blown out, anointed with the stench of crankcase oil, the hearty blood that fuels their veins. A breeze plays tag in the open spaces. Listen, there's a song of woodwinds, crickets sitting in on harmony. 3 strays strut outside the toothless fence. If you close your eyes, you can taste the scent of sulfur from their new-laid eggs a mile downstream. And the new book, that's a full-length collection. My first one that I'm not publishing is called Xylem Highway. And in case you don't know, xylem is the part of the tree that puts on the rings. Many people know, but some don't. So it's going to be published by Main Street Rag. And it's got sections, flora, fauna, sapiens, different sections. So this is one from the flora section. It's called Witness Bristlecone. Dwarfed century, twisted under millennial weight, trunk wrapped in shrapnel like my sister's husband's calves, pegged with the Purple Heart of Vietnam, regard me with the weary eyes that recorded the building of pyramids, Pharaoh's workers raising the walls brick by tortured brick. Something in the DNA of slow-growing cells, stun molecules that cup the seeds, will themselves to sprout. Memory captured in the slotted eye, 5,000 years of stills before we set foot to trail. Named for the bluish spurt of needles in your ingrown cone, deformed in the Dada style like a thalidomide arm, bristling with the light of eons, you have seen it all, drought, flood, fire, and plenty. As the aging tissue dies, take the slim xylem highway that runs from root to trunk. Scrappy flesh holds no candle to sequoia, all flash and razzle. You are the Gandhi of trees, your story penned in tiny whorls, the wrapped and rip-rap gyrus and sulcus of your dun dermis, arching up from talus, just below the tree line, Zen eunuch, frozen in time. You who have seen it all, drought, flood, fire, and plenty, bear stigmata in your pith, carved initials and a weathered shoe, toe upturned in mock surprise, your Sancho Panza on the trail. perfect timing for one more poem.
Perfect. I loved it.
Thank you. It's just a treat to be here. The open mic was incredible. This is called Wisteria. The seed packet languishes in the kitchen drawer, looking like it wants to disappear. Each time I hunt for rubber bands or paper clips, my eye lassos it, pinched into the back corner. Wrinkled wallflower, worse for wear. Part of a welcome basket from a neighbor 2 years ago in June. I'd always meant to plant them, but the seasons tumbled on. The pink rubber gloves, basket companions I loved and wore, fingertips twice sutured by a friend. The funny flat tops reveal my recklessness with roses. Today, wisteria are blooming all over town. Ringmasters of the city, a carnival of purple cones, they arch and spill from column and eave. I carefully plant the bristlecone seeds, a gift from my son, though I snort at the thought that 1,000-year-old trees could sprout from my windowsill. Still, I follow the instructions like an altar boy at Mass. Something in the risk and promise of wisteria with its lusty blooms arrests me. What if I plant them and the magic doesn't take? The ache in setting seeds to soil, mouthing the farmer's prayer, my crushed heart when no blooms appear. In the back of the drawer, I find more packets with hand-drawn labels. I recall the year my students sold them at the farmer's market, the grins on their faces as they exchanged their alchemy for dollar bills. The seeds consort with love notes, lost keys, relationships that never had a chance, stillborn in their husks, in the land of missed opportunities, expired sea monkeys, and roads not taken. Thank you so much.
Wow. Just so you know, I'm going to put this on pause so you may speak as you wish. When we come back, Shem is our the last word, so he opens and closes the last half. Then we have Allie, Anna, Edward, Rob, Britt, our mini, Robin, Rose, or Rosie, she wrote here, and then Shem closing. And we got another special person here. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But I'm going to put this on pause.